It's the Montessori Power Hour. I'm David Hargis.
And I'm Aubrey Hargis. And on this episode, we are making some waves. That's right, we are putting on our homeschooler hats to get you all pumped up for the school year this summer. This episode will feature one of our favorite marine mammals. And we'll do a science experiment in honor of our friend the whale, where we're going to show you some sifting. That's right. So speaking of sifting, friends, actual sifting on the internet is getting a lot harder this year.
I mean, I agree with you. It feels like the internet has changed. I don't know if it's just us, and I know we have folks out there in the audience. If you've noticed this as well, let us know. I think it's AI. I honestly do. I feel like in the last couple of years, when I do let's say a Google search or something, I'm not getting the same kinds of results. I'm getting a lot more. The browser, Google itself or whatever wants to
Give you the answer.
give me the answer using AI, or it wants to. And then once you get into the results themselves, it's either just tons of. There's just a lot of stuff that seems like it was written by AI. Like you could tell from the tone of the writing, and it's a real problem. Not only because we're kind of spoiled. We grew up before the internet when we were
spoiled in
kids.
so many ways.
Right? But we had we grew up in a paper world, an analog world. But then in college, it became the internet world for us.
Yeah.
And we just got really accustomed to finding everything online. Like that was the real promise. And now you can kind of find, but so many things are gated. There are things actually that you would assume would be available, books or movies or artworks or something that isn't available because of rights issues or copyright, or just like there wasn't a profit motive enough to upload it to the internet or something. And now with the, this AI is just amazing what it can do.
Oh, it is.
It's what it's able to produce, and it's starting to flood the zone, so to speak. And I think actually it's a big problem, as I understand it. I'm not an expert in AI, but I think there is concern in the AI community of the AI starting to like eat its own dog food, so to speak, like as we say here in the valley. Like it is.
Do we say that here?
We do it. We used to. I don't know if they still do. But yeah, it's starting to like eat its own stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and so the sources of information are less like human and more like human as processed by AI.
Right. It's really interesting, that when we kind of honed in on this word sifting, because of the science experiment we're going to do later on, I don't know, for some reason, like this connection between the sifting that I've personally been trying to do online in terms of like homeschooling and getting ready for the school year, as just looking up things in our daily lives, like about the kids and about about child development. Just like, I don't know, you think of things that you need to know about your kids all the time, medical things, and you just pop them into the search bar as usual. But what I've been noticing is, remember about 6 months ago when I told you I was trying to search for stuff that was actually stuff I needed to know, and all that was coming up was like like a whole bunch of, like, they changed the algorithm or something, and all of a sudden it was all videos and all advertisements. And I was trying to dig down to actually find some articles, because back in the day when I was blogging, like, you used to be able to just type it in and then you would be able to read all of these basically like posts, mostly in the kind of things that I was researching for, mostly like homeschool mom stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that there's not a whole lot of other stuff you could search for, but like mostly I was searching for homeschool mom stuff to find out, like, in real life, what do other homeschoolers think, or how do they lead their schedules. And so I would type in something like Montessori homeschooling, blah blah blah, or whatever I wanted to know, like, how do I get my ideas for rhythm, right? And it would just lead me into this beautiful little rabbit hole full of candle making and I don't know, table setting and things, all the things I was interested in, right? Like, I would find other homeschool moms who also like to be crafty and like to sew and like to research, and maybe we're former educators or maybe not, or, we're exploring this beautiful life that we have with our young children. And now it feels like no matter what I type in, I just get linked back to Reddit, which I am not like, I know nothing against Reddit in particular, but it feels like my feed is full of Reddit now, and I'm not a Reddit person. Like, I don't even have a Reddit account. And I know our son really got into Reddit once he learned about social media.
He seems
on
like
the
the
internet.
perfect Redditor.
Yes, but I have never been a Redditor, and now it's like that's what my feed is full of. So when I type in the stuff that I'm looking for, it's like, here, read this random Reddit thread from 3 years ago of these two random people on the internet where they were discussing something, and half the information is incorrect.
I know.
Or just opinionated. And then I look at the top of the search, and it's like, here's a response from AI, and it's opinionated.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily giving a balanced point of view or practical applications. It's giving like a pat answer. And it is just becoming, and this is in addition to all of like the visual advertisements and everything that have been popping up in the feed. And I've tried using different search engines as well to see if this is just a Google problem. But it seems to just be everywhere. Like, I'm just having a harder time finding information these days. It must not be just me. I see we have some comments. I am curious, for those of you who are out there watching with us, if this is resonating with you. Like, have you noticed this problem as well? Maybe yes, or is it just particular? Are we just like beta testers secretly? And because we live in San Francisco, are we just like secret beta testers and we don't know, like the internet actually hasn't changed? It's just us? I don't know. I feel like it's really must not just be us. So this leads us to the question, where can you find like good information about homeschooling if you're not being led to a beautiful little rabbit hole full of genuine and authentic Montessori blogs, or just homeschooler info, or just like real people info. If the internet is starting to feel more plastic, then what do we do?
Yeah, and I want to be clear because I think it's easy to then get conspiratorial. I think that...
I wasn't thinking conspiratorially.
Well, I just want to put it out there. I don't think there's some sort of grand conspiracy.
I was just thinking, like, practically, what do we do as homeschoolers?
I mean, I think this is what happens every time you, like, systematize something to a kind of around profit. Like, just the creativity starts to vanish. Competition is vital to it. As you sort of conglomerate things down, you just have less. I mean, surprising opinion for homeschoolers.
I'm not anti-AI or anything.
No.
It has a lot of useful, practical applications.
No, I'm just saying, but as a homeschooler family, it's probably not surprising that we really value, like, personal connection and choice and so forth. Speaking of which, I think it's time to get out the hats.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
All right, friends. In this new, we're going to leave that open-ended question there for you, and I would love to hear discussions about it in our community if you are watching. But in this new segment, we are actually going to put on our literal homeschool hats and become homeschooling advocates in full, and we are going to name not 2 or 3 or 5 or 500, but just one.
Just one.
Just one reason why you might want to consider homeschooling your child.
Now, I have 2 choices for hats. I brought 2 options. I have I have my vintage LBJ hat. This is actually from 1963. It was handmade.
Is authentic vintage.
Yeah. My mother bought this at an estate sale. It's got a fascinating backstory that I won't bore everybody with right now because it's probably only fascinating to me. The other option is...
Okay. Yes, captain. Your cruise hat.
My cruising hat. But you know what? I think I'm going to go... I'm going to represent the Lone Star State today, my home.
Okay, lovely, lovely. And I just have I have a hat that I wear all the time. It's my sun hat.
It is. I see they got a bunch of folks out there. Good morning or afternoon. If you like this, and I hope you do, please hit the like button. It helps us.
I can't read the comments because they're on your side. Do we have any before we
people just sort of talk. There's a talking about their favorite blogs, and then somebody mentioned that they do agree. They think there's something going on with the internet. I agree with that.
Okay,
All right.
friends.
So
all right.
we've got our hats on.
Okay, we do. We
So
have the
we're ready.
homeschool hats on. So now we're not going to apologize for being homeschoolers or assume that anyone would want to do anything else other than homeschool.
That's right.
Right. So you should homeschool because, drum roll.
It fosters curiosity.
Yeah,
Which actually goes with the AI thing we were just talking about. I mean, we have the world's greatest detector right up here.
Yes,
Our
we
brains
do.
and our hearts and souls, they help guide us. And so we can sniff out that stuff that doesn't seem quite right if we listen to ourselves. And we can help kids become better detectors if we instill a love of curiosity. And that is one reason you might homeschool.
Yes.
So what is it about? I mean, I think somebody out there would say, oh, everybody, schooling's all about curiosity. I just saw that in that museum commercial.
I can also see the argument that says, like, yeah, but everything isn't for everybody. Like, why would homeschooling be any better?
Yeah, right. So
It's not traditional. So how do we know this? All right. Well.
well, we do have our hats on.
We have
so
our
we're
hats
gonna
on.
say
So,
that,
okay.
Yeah, why? What do you
Okay.
think it is?
Well. Okay. So my personal perspective, I'm thinking back as a homeschooler who has raised children all the way through age 17, fully homeschooled. I'm thinking back to those early years where we have this perception that homeschoolers are like sitting around a kitchen table the whole time and the kids are doing desk work. And that it must be a very boring and sedentary life. I think when I think about homeschooling as being represented in the media, I think, a very large family with many children around the desk, like around the kitchen table, and everyone is like busily doing math problems at the table, and the mom is standing up at the front of the table, like being the teacher, like checking everybody's work, maybe marking answers as correct or incorrect, right? That's the stereotype that we have about homeschooling.
And certainly somewhere in the world you're going to find that.
Well, I'm sure, right? But I have never met a homeschooler that actually did that, and I've met a lot of homeschoolers. The homeschoolers that I have met in our community and in the community actually in Texas and in Virginia, so 3 different places around the United States.
Very different places in the U.S. Yeah.
Very different places in the U.S. Homeschoolers do not stay at home most of the time. And if they do stay at home, like their kids aren't necessarily at a table. Most homeschoolers are like out and about exploring the world.
That's right.
This is because it would get super boring at home if you were just to stay home and sit at the kitchen table all the time, right? And so I think that we tend to have the image as homeschoolers as being isolated and sheltered, but in actuality, they are like out. We are going on field trips. We're having outings to local events. We are going to museums together. We're making play dates. We're trying to connect with other homeschoolers almost constantly to make sure that our kids are getting the social, the social experiences that they need. I don't want to say socialization because that sounds like you're doing something to your kid, but like getting the social experience that will help to nurture them, and as we are like immersing with our children, and also libraries, like homeschoolers tend to be really, really into books, like bringing books into the home. It is one of the primary ways that we
it's
actually
not uncommon for
learn.
us to hear, and for us ourselves when we had kids that age, you bring in 50, 100 books. If whatever the maximum number of books your library will let you check out.
An embarrassing amount of
like
books.
a wagon of books. And it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a wonderful resource.
Yes. So when you are giving your children like all of these varied experiences in the world, and you're really like taking this job seriously, like all of the homeschoolers I have literally ever met on this journey, then children are naturally going to be curious about their experiences in the world. So think about with the homeschooler hat on, all right, think about like how we were both school teachers in classrooms. So in a classroom, I might have read a story to a group of children about, I don't know, about a subject, we'll just say like about whales, right? And assume that we live here. And then, start to ask the children the comprehension questions. And then maybe they go to their desks and they draw a picture of a whale or they write a story about a whale, or some other kind of cutting and pasting activity about whales, assuming it's like kindergarten, first, second grade. Compare that to like actually going to the beach, or taking a trip to a place where you could actually do some whale watching. Now, when we lived in Texas, whale watching in particular wasn't accessible to us. I had never been whale watching until we moved here. But living here, if there's whale watching to be had, why wouldn't we actually do that rather than just sitting at home doing some kind of crafty activity about whales? All right? So that's just an example, and it's kind of a particular local example to living here in the Bay Area. But back, like if you think about any environment, everyone has something that is dramatic and amazing and local about the natural world.
Well, I'm thinking in Texas growing up, those,
right?
When we get the bluebonnets, it's amazing. For those of you who live in Texas,
you'll know
what we're talking. If you haven't ever been, it is phenomenal. The bluebonnets are a real treasure.
And it's different from the California poppies that are here. It's just different.
But it's an example of where, you get just a whole hillside covered in these, or a field filled with it. It's just awash with this blue. And it doesn't last that long. It's really determined by the amount of rain and sun that you've received. And so if you wanted to go out and sit and take pictures or draw them or study them you can do that. Right? That is a phenomenon that's happening in your local environment that you can take advantage of, like the whale watching is, or whatever. Yeah. There's all kinds of things, and that's part of it. So in a traditional setting, you might organize a field trip, but it's complicated. You got to get the forms. Maybe it happens every now and again. It's not how it is when you homeschool. You're able to just take advantage of these moments. And that fits into the idea of curiosity, right? Because if the child is curious, or there's something in the environment that might spark curiosity, you're able to follow that curiosity to wherever it leads.
Absolutely. It's really hard to do when you have many, many children in a classroom. Say you got, let's say 22 to 25 kids in your class, or your kindergarten classroom, which is what I taught. And each of them is like sparked to be curious in a slightly different way, right? Like it's so much harder to follow all of their interests and nurture all of their interests right there in the moment. Even though a classroom can be a beautiful thing, although I have my homeschool hat on right now.
Oh, sure.
And so I'm advocating fully that as a homeschool mama, I was able to notice that curious thing and then just like follow the child right there and then. And usually our most curious moments did not happen when our kids were like sitting down at the table, doing a craft or something. Most of those moments that really happened were when we were having an actual event or experience that just like made it all blossom. Now maybe we did some whale activities first and got kind of the juices going, and then when we went to the beach, the connection was made. But it's really in the connecting to those real life experiences that makes, I think, the curious spirit just blossom. And so yes, it's a great thing to spark curiosity in your child, and you can do that in a really great way by being a homeschooler. Well, one of your homeschool destinations this summer, friends, actually might be to an aquarium. We have a beautiful aquarium here. I know that there's a beautiful one in Dallas where we were there too. Dallas, and also in Virginia. Yeah, we've always
the one up in Baltimore, the National Aquarium, is awesome.
Yes. So much fun to go to an aquarium and see all of the beautiful ocean creatures that are in there. I have noticed that the idea of an aquarium, I think, sometimes doesn't seem so interesting, but every time we actually go with our kids, I mean, they are riveted to they're just riveted to the aquarium exhibits, right?
Well, they're amazing.
So colorful and like fish coming in and out, right? It's mysterious. It's so great. So you probably will not see a whale at your aquarium.
Not a big whale, at least.
Not a big whale, but you definitely can have a whale of a time.
Oh boy!
I want to say, boom, boom, ching.
Is it dad joke time already?
It's not yet. But we do have a fun science experiment to share with you. You love it when I'm that cheesy. Um, so you can actually, we're going to give you a very easy science experiment that you can do
Yep.
that is a real life thing that will spark creativity and curiosity in your child that has to do with whales. It actually comes from our dive thematic unit.
Right.
So we're going to kind of flip over into the top view, and then it's going to get a little bit messy, friends, because because this is a really messy experiment, and we're going to do it here at our studio desks. So let's have some fun with that. Okay, so baleen is a sieve.
That's right.
Right? And we're going to be doing some sifting with that sieve.
That's right, because as you might or may not know, whales come in two varieties.
Ooh.
Well, I certainly come in more than that, but one has regular old chompers like us, and the other has these amazing bristly things called baleen.
Yes.
That they use to filter. And it is a really interesting component of how the biodiversity on our planet looks. And this is a lesson that you can give that will kind of help bring that to life.
Yes. Okay, let's take a look inside.
Okay, are we ready for top-down view?
Yeah, top-down view. I'm going to show you a little peek into our dive thematic unit, and then we're going to hone in on this science experiment that's inside it. Let me just move that up out of our way. Okay. All right, friends, here we go. Dive. So here's our constellation theme, dive, where the really, like, all kinds of animals dive, but we really focused in on whales in this particular unit.
That's right.
All right, so a little introduction. We've got all of these activities touch on our 10 core areas in Montessori that we have identified. So we believe in an interdisciplinary approach to learning. Everything
really
intersects, right?
Curiosity.
We've got some literature connections, some art connections, wonders of the sea. We've got whale cards in here. Let me actually just flip to the back because it's probably easier. And then we have a whale timeline.
Oh yeah, and you wrote a short story.
Oh yeah, this cracked me up so hard. I don't know if I don't know if anybody else enjoys a good pun, but we did our visual recipe. It was called the Krill Good Taco Bar. Because it's krill good. It's krill good. Yeah, it's just tacos, friends. but it's krill good. Okay, we got okay, so this is our Wonders of the Sea cards. Aren't they pretty? I think that you actually designed these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
These.
Based on real life pictures of the
life
drawings. Yeah, they're lovely. We've got our bottlenose dolphins. So
so I think this one is
these
sorting like whales.
These are cetaceans. So we've
That's
got
right.
whales versus dolphins here, right? Yeah, we've got these have a control of error, so a W on the back if it's a whale, a D if it's a dolphin.
And then a porpoise.
Oh, and a P for porpoise too. Very, very, very cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Aww. Porpoises are so cute.
Aren't they?
I know. I think this one is, I think they're kind of little too, aren't they?
I don't know.
Cetaceans, yeah. So this was about, we're going to lay this all out. We lay these all out on a rug. This would be some Montessori classification in here. And then, yes, this is what I was thinking.
Yeah,
this is why I was looking at that little doll's porpoise, and I was like, I think it's tiny and cute. It's because it is. It's really, really, really cute and tiny compared to the blue whale. Here's our humpback whale kind of in the middle, but look at all these
Now, when we say tiny and cute, it is as
cetaceans.
big as I am.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
6 feet. It's just
You're right,
tiny and
it's 6
cute
feet.
compared to this monstrously huge blue whale. So,
That's a good point. And then we've got
all things are relative, folks.
Oh, we did a cool pie chart of the ocean. That's such a fun activity. I love it. Math activity with that.
Labeling the ocean.
I love this unit. I had forgotten how much I love it. The little tiny vaquita at 5 feet, so about my size. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, well, here we are, friend. Baleen is a sieve. We're going to be using these cards, one of an orca whale and one of a Brodus whale. It looks like bride's whale, but I think it's pronounced Brodus, right? And you can see the baleen that's right there. And then we've also got some pictures of things that these whales eat, including, of course, krill good food.
With or without the taco seasoning.
Right. And then we've got an evolution of whales timeline here, which actually was super, super
Yeah,
fascinating.
this is one of those big works
Oh
where
my
you're going to put it
gosh,
out on paper.
I loved this. This goes right into, really shows the good connection between our lower elementary work and the thematic work. So it's really accessible to all ages. Yeah, okay, so lots of good stuff in here. But we are going to go to the activity about the sieve, and then we'll show you. Oh, you see? Okay, excellent. Baleen is a sieve. So David is going to kind of list off the materials, and I'm going to get out the materials.
Carefully without knocking over the camera there. Right?
Yes.
Of course.
Got it. I know. This is going to be an experiment.
Okay.
friends.
Are you ready? First, you're going to need a sieve or a large fine mesh strainer.
Okay. All right. So I have actually two kinds. The kind that we wrote about in the unit looks like this. It's just a regular classic strainer. I use this all the time, friends. Okay, and then this I bought at a little restaurant supply store for fun. This is a different kind of sifter, so you could actually use either of these kinds of sieves, right? Sifters.
That's right. Okay.
So I'm going to use this one, I think, for this part of the
You
experiment.
need
What else?
rolled oats.
Rolled oats, and I have some.
Now, if you didn't have rolled oats, you could probably use something similar, but this rolled oats is what we're using.
Rolled oats, yes. Okay.
Flour.
Flour. We always have oats around here
We do.
because I am obsessed.
What kind is that?
I know. I literally pulled this out of our freezer just before, like 20 minutes ago. Friends, it's called all-purpose flour. Of course. This is a joke this is like a joke episode, isn't it? This, I think, reveals how much fun our family has with puns. This was a joke that a friend of mine, it ended in, I don't remember, it was like, what kind of flour do whales like or something? And the answer was all-purpose flour. And our oldest kid, when he was about 5, he thought that was hilarious and told that joke over and over and over again. And ever since then, we just call it all-purpose flour. So I thought it was fitting. I did not write that down in honor of you. You should know this is legit. Okay, what
All
else
right.
do we need here on our messy?
A small, medium, and large size bowl. We need 3 bowls.
Got it. 3 bowls coming right up.
Okay. Ooh,
Okay.
and these are some of your homemade bowls.
Right.
We also need a
Yes.
measuring cup and a wooden spoon.
Okay, I'm standing out of my chair in a wooden spoon. Okay, it doesn't say the size of the measuring cup, right? And I think that's on purpose.
On
purpose? So I brought a half cup, and I also brought a whole cup. Let's do the half cup.
And it does, and as you'll see as you go through and as always, we would recommend do the activity first yourself, and then give it to the child so that you know. But the size of the measuring cup doesn't matter because you're not making a mixture of something precise. You're blending things together and then sieving them.
Yes. Okay.
Sorting
So
it.
we've got our. This is everything that you need, friends, to do this particular experiment.
You need
All
some
right.
bowls. You need a sieve. You need oats, flour. You need a measuring cup or something to scoop with, and you
Right.
need a spoon to stir with.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do it. What do I do?
Okay. So the
Wait.
first thing.
Yeah. What do I do? The first thing is
We're
we
going to
need some
introduce.
pictures.
Yeah, we got to introduce the concept.
Okay. So I have over here. I actually did print it out. You want to show them in the materials list what we needed? Okay. What does it say? It says we need to print
Whales
and
and
cut
their
out
food cards.
these whales and their food cards. Okay. And they're right here. And
Now, why do we need to do this?
why do we need to print these out? Oh, well, I think that having a visual of the different kinds of teeth is really, well, it sparks the curiosity, right? I just think it's good to have visuals if you can. So if you didn't have these cards, I think it would be good to have checked out a book about the different kinds of whales from your local library. So really, you're just looking for a visual, because a lot of these things, like, I don't know, it's really hard to get close to whales enough to see these kinds of things.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, so
you want
these...
me to grab some scissors?
Sure.
I think I can do that. I've got extra scissors over here. I can help you. All right, give me the other sheet. Okay.
Okay, so got my orca.
Oh, I see you're cutting out the little, so that we know what they are.
And you said you think it's pronounced broods?
Brodus.
Brodus whale. And we picked these, when we designed this, we're intentional to make sure that you could see the teeth, or baleen. All right, now while you're cutting that, I have something I think you'll find this fun.
Okay.
You said that we have, we're lucky we can see occasionally whales. They'll migrate up
Yes.
the coast, right? They go from Mexico up to Alaska and back and around. And
They're all over the earth, right?
They're all over the earth. But for us,
But on
those
our
are,
coast, they're going back and forth in between.
Yeah.
The,
And it's
the
amazing.
northern
I had never
waters and
seen a
the
whale,
southern.
but since we've lived here, we've had a few chances, and here's one of our chances. Now, you can't see the whale here because they're out there.
They're out there, but guess what you can see is all those birds.
Exactly. Well, that's why I wanted to pop this up, because as you'll see in the picture that we have, one of our pictures, there's a ton of birds flying around, and that's exactly what we saw. So where all those birds are is where the whale would be coming out and spouting and breaching, and there's the boys off there staring into the beauty of nature.
Yes, that was 2020
I know.
that we had that experience. And so I actually, if you zoom in on that photo, you can see that they're wearing masks at the beach. There's nobody around us, but that really took me back. I was like, wow, that's wild. They were so little back then. It was 4 years ago.
Those are birds.
It surprised me how little they looked. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So what you're going to do first, it is Brodus. You're right.
I'm going to remember that this is Brodus.
You are absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm just going to cut that off because that bothers me.
Deadly After says, I think I need to relabel my flower. Yes, you do.
Yes, if there's anything that you take away from this little live, I hope that you enjoy your all-purpose flower a lot more.
All-purpose flower. Okay.
Okay.
So what you're going to do, though, is you're going to introduce...
So before you get out these things up here,
That's right.
you're going to introduce the cards. And so you would take these to a rug.
That's right.
Ideally, or a table, and before you get out all this stuff. And you would just look at these in particular with your child, right? So you're going to look at one at a time.
So you're going to say this is the orca, which is actually a dolphin, right? We call it a killer whale, but that's actually not a fair name for it. As the story, we actually have a story in this that talks about where that
the killer
name
whale,
comes from. But it's an orca whale, beautiful creatures, and you can see his little teeth there. And then there's another kind of cetacean that we have. It is the Brodus whale. And that is an actual whale. And you can notice, so you're going to ask your child, what do you see in these photos? What are these cetaceans doing?
Yeah. So I don't know, you can imagine what a child might notice. You're just really looking for your child to just have a discussion with you. So you're going to say, oh, I see each little tooth on these. But what are these things? Are these teeth? They kind of look more like hairs. And your child might notice all these birds. They might actually, looking at this, thinking about what a child would want to do, we would probably have been counting these birds on here as well,
right.
like integrating a little math in there too. And you might notice like the shapes of things. I see, this part is like almost like a straight line right here. But with the orca, it's kind of more rounded. Seems kind of roundy.
You might think about how shiny the skin is and thinking about what it would feel like to touch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're just going to have that conversation
You're trying to just get them curious about what they're seeing.
You're using the word cetacean, right? And so you're not just calling them both whales,
'Cause they're
right?
not whales.
They're not both whales. They are both cetaceans, and this is an orca, which is a dolphin, and this is a Brodus whale, which is a whale. Right?
And that is like 100% Montessorian, is when we use scientific names and accurate names. It's a really important part of the method.
Okay, so then what would we do? We've kind of talked about these two.
Yeah, so now you're gonna give a little lesson on how baleen works. You're gonna say the whale and the dolphin both have their mouths open as though they are ready to eat, but their mouths look very different. The orca has teeth, but the Brodus whale does not have teeth. It has baleen. Baleen is a series of plates made of keratin. That's the same stuff our fingernails and hair is made of.
Yeah, well, mine are painted, but David's are not. So yeah, talk about the fingers and what keratin is, and also hair, right?
Yeah. So now you're drawing it to something that they can actually see and feel. Baleen helps the whale filter the seawater so that it can open its mouth very wide to allow in seawater and small creatures like krill and schools of tiny fish, like anchovies or herring. The whale then pushes the water through its baleen, trapping only the food inside, which it swallows.
Right.
An orca hunts and eats much larger animals, such as seals and sea turtles. Like dolphins, porpoises, and some whales, like the sperm whale, we humans have teeth. We don't have baleen.
Nope, we don't.
Okay, and this is where you can use your pictures. And I suppose, depending on the age, your readiness and sensitivity of your child, you would be able to hold up an image. So here's a turtle, and you'd say, what?
Which one of these cetaceans might eat a turtle?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, it's going to be the orca because
it has teeth, and oh my gosh, it would be really hard to eat that turtle, I think.
That's right.
But not for an orca.
That's right.
But this Brodus whale would kind of have some trouble.
Look at this guy. Now these would be real tiny. This is zoomed up.
These are krill good.
He's krill good. Now,
he's krill good.
What do you think here? What would eat that one?
Yeah. Obviously, it's going to be the baleen.
Yeah,
and then this
is
a school of herring.
Yep.
And that's also going to be the baleen, because they would go into that mouth real easy. Right?
And here
is a seal, and that's going to go with your orca. So ideally, you would have these on the rug, right? And you would be kind of lining these all up underneath. Okay, perfect.
Now it's time to do the experiment.
Okay, let's do this experiment.
Okay.
So we're going to demonstrate how baleen works for our child.
Okay, so you're going to tell your child you're going to use a sieve to see how baleen works. Show your child the rolled oats and that you're going to pretend the oats are krill.
Okay, we're going to pretend that these oats are krill. What do we do with them?
Show your child the flour and tell them you're going to pretend the flour is seawater.
Okay, this is the seawater.
Measure 1 cup oats and 2 cups of flour into a medium-sized bowl and mix them together.
Okay, so normally we would do 1 cup of oats and 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to do a half cup of oats and a whole cup of flour, just because we're on this dangerous studio desk.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so what am I doing with them?
And add it to that bowl.
Add it to the medium bowl?
That's right.
Okay.
All right. Oh, here comes all of our krill.
Okay, there goes the krill.
And it's swimming around in our water.
Here comes the water.
There's the seawater.
Okay, and we need 2 of those.
That's right.
Woo!
Okay.
All right.
And now you're going to mix them together.
Okay, and I just brought an extra. Ooh, messy, messy, messy. Here we go. I'm going to gently mix that so our friends can see that our krill are swimming around in the seawater. Oh, gosh.
Batter dipped krill.
Yes, I want to make pancakes with this after this.
Oh.
This is what it's making me think of
fried
pancakes.
Shrimp.
What?
More abstractly. Okay.
Okay.
Now you're going to place the sieve over the large bowl.
Okay.
And you're going to scoop some of the mixture into the sieve and model how to gently shake the sieve from side to side over the bowl, separating the oats from the flour.
Okay.
Turn the sieve sideways and gently scoop the oats into the small bowl.
Okay.
Okay, so sift, basically.
So sift, basically. All right. Well, let's give it a try. I'm going to scoop some in.
Okay. So here comes the...
Here comes the whale, and this is our baleen.
Yep. There we go.
Probably could have used a bigger bowl, but it is sifting.
That's right.
Oh, look, I see our krill coming.
Oh, and here's
Here they come.
here's the whale's stomach.
It's taking some good sifting here, but it's almost done. And this is pretty fast. And we got our krill. Woohoo! It's time to eat. Just pour those in there, and then you can see what's left over.
There's all the seawater
Here's
that would
our
have
seawater.
gone back into the ocean, and here's all
our
that
krill.
or
Yeah,
that would
and
have
now
gone
we
into
can
the
eat
stomach.
this yummy krill.
That's right.
I love oats. Okay.
Okay, so you're just going to repeat
Yep.
with your child doing the sifting and assisting until the oats have sifted out.
Until you got all of your delicious krill.
Yeah, that's right. Now, your step number 6 is don't throw away that flour or oats. Consider making something delicious from them afterwards, like pancakes or banana bread.
Yay! Yes. Yes.
All right, so this is a really easy and fun activity.
It's so easy and super satisfying. Yeah.
And you can go up and down. So we always include, let me switch back over here.
Okay, so messy. I'm just going to take these and just put them over here.
We'll eat those krill later.
Delicious.
All right,
Hungry
so
for breakfast.
in Constellation, the goal is to make this a really family-centric learning experience from 2 to 9. So we always provide suggestions for how to maybe scale the complexity up or down. So in this case, we say have some oats for your toddler, have some oats ready for tasting, because your toddler will likely want to eat this experiment.
For sure.
For your primary child, that would be 2 to or 3 to 5. Child might like to repeat this activity with a small strainer and water in a bowl with something that floats like pumpkin seeds. This sounds like a fun bath time activity.
Honestly, I wish that I had, I know that we used to have a smaller strainer on hand, and then it broke, and I just need to replace it because that one felt a little bit big, and I wanted a bigger bowl for it. So just kind of reiterating, it's good to practice first.
Yeah,
and
I think
make sure that you're
bringing
using,
out the big metal bowl would have been
make sure
better.
you're using or offering materials that are appropriate to the age of your child.
Yeah,
and
the
your
size
child's,
of the hand. Or
maybe not the age, but like your child's motor skill ability as well.
And then the last one would be for your older child, a 6 and over. Keratin is found in our hair and nails, but what is it? Have them research, have them find out. And that is, so that is exactly how you would scale up. For the littlest, you would focus more on the sensorial experience. For the primary child, that the toddler or post-toddler age, they're gonna be perfect to do this activity. It's a right on the money activity. For the older child, you're going to use the experiment to spark the imagination, and then hopefully they get curious, or potentially they get curious, and you go to the library and you get 100 books, and you wheel them back and you say, let's learn about keratin and
then you get obsessed with whales, or at least if you're Aubrey.
That's exactly right. So this is a fun activity.
I will tell you, friends, we're on the note of getting obsessed with whales. Like, that is probably one of the biggest tips that I have for homeschoolers. I wish I could put on my homeschooler hat again for this, but get obsessed about something and then just like get so excited about it. You want to talk about it all the time, and your child will naturally get curious about whatever it is that you seem to be super interested in.
That's exactly right.
You might not see it right away, but you'll see it later. You might not even be immediately. It might be like a couple years later. Your child will remind you that you were interested in that thing and bring you a book about it and then tell you what they read. Like, I mean, you have to trust that the method works long term. Well, look who is coming. It's our whale friend.
Hello there, Mr. Whale. What's that? Oh.
Does the whale have a joke?
What do whales need to stay healthy?
What do whales need to stay healthy?
Vitamin C.
It's vitamin SEA.
Vitamin C. Boy, this is a very pun-heavy show today. I love it. I love a pun.
It is. It's a trend. All right. I love that. That's a fun one to share with your kids if you are studying whales, or I think it's a joke that elementary kids who can spell will get. Yeah. But also, it's just funny to say vitamin C, because C and C
It's a homonym.
It's a homonym, yeah. And so you don't have to explain why it's funny. It's just funny.
It's just funny.
It's just funny. All right.
Like
well,
all good jokes, it's just funny.
yeah.
All right, guys, we have, if you are interested in joining us, we would love to have you here at Child of the Redwoods. We have an exciting new theme coming up in just a few days. It is... Ooh, it is
Awesome.
farm.
Oh,
Look at our new little farm.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
farm, we are releasing that in just a couple of days to our members. It's got parts of a cow. It's got a really elaborately, lots of materials involved, grammar lesson with the different parts of speech and so forth. It's got a poem. I'm trying to remember all the things we just designed because I was just working on it.
For farm?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's like really heavy in grammar farm. And our members had requested some activities that involved a farmer's market because we've been
Oh, yes. It's got a math activity with
So
these little
we incorporated
cutouts
that.
you can do, cutouts of fruits and vegetables, and you can play store.
Yeah, so it's quite a big packet.
It is the biggest packet we've ever made. It's 140 pages.
And not that you have to do everything in it, but it is meant to be fun. I will tell you, David, can you give them, when you showed me this for the first time, can you do an impression of what my face looked like? He sat there working. He worked on this a long time, and then when he was finished, he turned it on. I was just stunned. I was just like, I don't even know what to say. It's so cute. It makes me think like the pig is just jumping. It's just like that little happy pig is just jumping out. He's ready to do some farm activities with you and your child. It's so cute.
Well, if you are interested in getting your hands on farm or dive or
you actually need to be a member of our programs right now in order to get your hands on farm.
It's exclusive only to Constellation members, which you can join today and get instant access to everything, including farm when it releases in a couple days. Plus, remember, if you're in Constellation, you will be invited to our annual planning party where we are going to help you get ready for the 2024-2025 academic year, school year, whatever you like to call it. And that's going to be, I think, on August 7th. And you're going to get a new planner, portfolio, and we're going to go through it. And then every 3 months, we're going to check in on how things are going with you.
Exactly.
And that is included in your Constellation membership.
Yes, and our primary and lower elementary courses are starting up this fall as usual. So if you're interested in that, please reach out and get in touch with us and let us help you make a decision about whether it's right for your homeschooling family.
Yeah, and if you're interested in taking both the Constellation and what we would call a foundational program, reach out to us. We've got some really exciting things in the works that we're not rolling out just yet, but in the next couple weeks,
we're going to have a big announcement for you.
Big announcements coming. But if you are curious about that today, reach out to us. Or if you've just recently joined and you're curious about it, reach out to us. You can email us or chat with us anytime. We're always happy to talk.
Yes, we're at childoftheredwoods.com. And if you have any questions, feedback, just reach out and ask us there. We love hearing your thoughts.
And I thank you, Totally Ever After. I thought it was adorable as well. Despite what the critics might say.
Wink, wink.
All right, folks.
All right. Thanks so much, friends, for joining us. Love you. Mwah. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.